Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Film Bouillabaisse. I'm here, as always, with fellow compatriot of the cinema, Logan Albright.
Hello.
So it's been the whole summer since we've done one of those. Time has really slipped away from us, so you're going to see us wearing the same clothes for several episodes. It's because we tape them all in one day, not that we have like a summer outfit that we wear every time.
I might change my clothes between episodes. You'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so first up is Midsommar. And it is the very, very acclaimed sophomore hit from the folks that brought you Hereditary. Now, I saw the director's cut, but you saw the standard theatrical release, right?
I saw the theatrical version, yes.
So my version had about 24 extra minutes that yours didn't have. So, what'd you think?
I really liked it. It's not as much of a horror movie, I would say. It's not as scary, but there's a lot of disturbing things that go on, and it's very atmospheric, and there's lots of really beautiful camera work. And I liked it. I thought it was good.
I think there's more dread in this film. I mean, Hereditary certainly had a lot of dread, but this had even more. You can start to link up the pieces of where it's going, and then it gets there. Do you think it has satisfying payoff without spoilers?
I do think it had satisfying payoff. I thought some of the climactic scenes were amazing and beautiful to watch. I thought the kind of overall tension that builds up over the course of the movie really paid off towards the end. Again, I don't think it was as overtly horrifying as Midsommar. I mean, not as Hereditary, but it is definitely got some dread going on, and I thought it worked really well. It does good with the kind of the Scandinavian pagan, kind of that sort of scary movie. It reminded me a little bit of The Wicker Man, movies like that deal with kind of traditional paganism and cults and things of that nature.
Yeah, The Wicker Man and some other kind of cult horror that was big in, the 70s. Overall, what's your takeaway?
My takeaway, it was a long movie, even in the theatrical cut. It's got some fairly graphic scenes in it that you may not want to bring your children to. But I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought the acting was good. I really liked the main character. I thought the actress who played her was very good. And I thought that it was a picturesque film. There's lots of great landscapes. There's beautiful scenery. And it's got a sort of a unique take on horror. It's different than any other horror film you'll see this year or any other year.
It's really funny that you bring up the actress because I had seen her the day previous in Fighting with My Family. And that's such a different role that it was viscerally shocking. Speaking of viscerally shocking, there's a lot of body horror in this, and I was reticent to even see this because I had heard about it. How did you do with the graphic violence?
See, I don't think there was much violence in it, at least in the version I saw. I wouldn't say there's very much body horror. There's a little bit, but so much of it is suspense and waiting for things to happen. There's a few shocking moments, but it's not. It doesn't bombard you with it. It's only a few moments in the film.
I wonder then what the difference is between the two versions.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, right. The few moments of actual gore, there were not very many in the version I saw.
Fortunately, with a lot of the goriest scenes, you could kind of tell what was coming, and so you could avert your eyes if you wanted to. I wanted to. So, again, without giving too much away, we talked about Hereditary about this time last year. There's a lot of face and head violence in Hereditary, and that theme has remained true here in, not The Wicker Man, Midsommar. So, what did you think about that? I mean...
Yeah, I think the director has a thing for disliking people's faces and wanting to disfigure them or destroy them in some way. It did seem to be a theme. But yeah, again, in the version I saw, there wasn't too much of it. It was mainly, it was a lot of relationships. There was some chemical horror of, people taking drugs and not realizing what they'd taken. And there was a lot of just anticipation and not knowing what was going on until the very end.
So, Christian is the lead character's boyfriend. Is he the worst boyfriend in the history of cinematic film?
Unquestionably. Terrible boyfriend. Needs to ditch him right away.
What did you think about the finish exchange student, Pele?
You know, he was very likable, very affable. Maybe not quite as forthcoming or as honest as he could have been with his American friends, but it was hard to dislike him during the course of the movie. He seemed like a decent guy.
So there is a triangular shaped building that looks like this in the film, and it's painted a bright color, I think yellow, or maybe red. And it reminded me of the treehouse and the light that it put off in the movie Hereditary. Did you pick up on that?
I did not pick up on that, but that's a good observation. I definitely felt like there were parallels between the two movies, and I thought that the feeling overall was very similar. Just the overall ambience and atmosphere of the films, you could tell it was done by the same people. And if you liked Hereditary, I think you liked Midsommar quite a bit.
A lot of the similar themes. We've got the paganism themes. We've got lineage, Hereditary, what that means. These are rites, these are customs that are passed down generationally. That's even more on the nose in Midsommar.
Yeah, I really like that kind of horror movie. I really like Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, and these things that involve human sacrifices and pagan rituals and stuff. I think those are really effective and compelling forms of horror that you don't see that often, but when you do see them, I think they will work really well. And there's a lot of great Swedish landscape out there in this, a lot of great ambience. I wonder if this unfairly prejudices people against the Swedes and against their culture and everything, but it is a mysterious, Scandinavian sort of feeling to it, and I think that is really effective for those of us who don't live in that part of the world.
Yes, and I like that Ingmar, the Pele's brother's name, it's kind of a callback to Ingmar Bergman, who is, I think, undoubtedly the most famous Swedish director, at least probably for people that live in the Western Hemisphere. Do you wish that you would have seen the director's cut?
I didn't really have a desire to see the director's cut when I saw it came out, because I thought the movie was long enough, and there were a couple of scenes in it that I was quite uncomfortable watching. I actually went to see this with my parents, so that may have been a mistake. There were a couple scenes that I was fairly uncomfortable watching with my parents, and so I didn't really need any more. I don't know what they added, but if they added more of the too hot for TV kind of stuff, I could have done without that. So I'm perfectly happy having seen the theatrical version.
Well, I really liked it, all 3 hours of it, but there are some uncomfortable bits. If you go see it, I would say pay attention to the artwork that you see. It starts, at least in the theatrical version, with a tapestry or a painting, and it's so beautiful. And from there's just all kinds of artwork on the walls, the wallpaper, tell stories. So pay attention to the walls and artwork when you watch the film.
Yeah, that's a good point. The opening sequence was gorgeous. Not only the tapestries, but then it goes into all this landscape of snowy fields and snowy forest and ice and things like that. And it's fantastic to watch. I love the opening sequence.
Are you going to see the third outing from Ari Aster after seeing Hereditary and Midsommar?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his next film. I'll definitely check it out, whatever it happens to be.
Me too. Do you know if this is a planned trilogy?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that.
Okay, well, we'll round up on that. Okay, well, thanks for watching Film Bouillabaisse. I've been Alison Parker.
And I've been Logan Albright.
We'll see you next time. Keep it real.